Hi, everybody. Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. Now, my guest today has already been on my show, but he's back for a part two. And trust me, this is going to be a good one because my guest is the voice actor for many characters, including Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Allstar Seaworthy in the Snorks, Grouchy Smurf, Lazy Smurf, Handy Smurf, and Johan in the Smurfs, Lance and Sven in the original Voltron cartoon, Prowl, Scrapper, Sideswipe, Bombshell, First Aid, and Swoop, and many more in the original Transformers cartoon, Bruce Banner in The Incredible Hulk, Blowtorch, Xamot, and Duke in G.I. Joe, the original G.I. Joe, Chaz Finster, Drew Pickles, and Grandpa Boris in Rugrats, High Tide in Transformers Rescue Bots, Quackerjack in Darkwing Duck, Plastic Man in the Plastic Man Comedy Adventure Show, Augur and Blackthorn Shaw in Humanoids, and also he has done work for cartoons such as The Addams Family, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, Challenge of the Super Friends, Gargoyles, Midnight Patrol, Adventures in the Dream Zone, Quickie Koala, Rubik the Amazing Cube, Robotics, Tailspin, The Centurions, Trollkins, and more. And he's also a voiceover coach as well, which he's mentored some pretty amazing people, and he's voice directed a few shows as well. So this is going to be good. My guest is the legendary Michael Bell. Hi,
Ta-da!
Michael.
Ta-da!
Yay.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
Good, good. Just relaxing after our Thanksgiving, our Save the Turkey Thanksgiving dinner. We're vegan family, so we had
Oh, right.
dinner
Yeah.
last night. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's just been Thanksgiving for you guys over there in America. That's really cool. Yeah. So, how have you sort of been since our last chat? Because last time I spoke to you about, oh, what have you been doing during like lockdown and stuff? Because obviously we recorded it sort of like during that sort of periods. But how's it been now since you've been back to work? If you've recorded from in a studio since.
Basically, I've been recording mostly dubbing for Netflix. I dub a lot of foreign films for Netflix, so that's
Mhm.
been a fun thing for me to do.
So, Michael, of course, there are a good few subjects that we did not cover in our last interview, and obviously because this was like years ago, there's some fresh topics. I've got some fresh topics written down. So I thought I might as well start with one thing that I mentioned over your email, that you are actually the godfather of the actor Steve Gutenberg. How cool is that? So how did you sort of get to know Steve's family?
Well, his mother and I were kids together in Brooklyn.
Uh-huh.
We grew up together. It was a neighborhood, a very small neighborhood, and years later, and I used to visit them all the time. And then I started to do a lot of television and stuff. And Steve, used to write to me, he got really excited, and he wanted to be an actor, he said. So when the time came, I think he was graduating, he wanted to come to Hollywood. So I said, why don't you have Steve come and stay with me? And that he did. And he wanted to, study and whatever. And then I said, well, let's see if I can get you a couple of roles because I was pretty hot then. And so I got him a walk on a series called Doc, and then
Mm-hmm.
I had him. Then I was doing a movie called Roller Coaster,
Mm-hmm.
and I said to the director, I said, "There's one role in here. This guy comes in, he says two lines. Could Steve do it?" And he said, "Sure." So that was Steve's first role was in Roller Coaster.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
really cool.
and he took
Wow.
off after that, and he became quite a celebrity after that.
Yeah. Yeah, he was meant to do the Comic Con Scotland that Frank Welker was at, and Peter Cullen, but I think he dropped out. I don't know why. I think it was due to scheduling conflicts. But if I did meet him, I definitely would have mentioned you to him. Do you see him much nowadays, or do you not get
Yeah, at
to
all.
see him?
Don't see him at all. Haven't seen him in years.
Oh, bless him. Well, if he does appear at Comic Con over here, I will definitely name drop you for sure. You're welcome. So that's really cool. Another thing, right? Because I've got some proper good like obscure stuff on here that some people might not know about you. So one thing I found really interesting, a few I'm doing more words here. A few months ago, I met Cam Clark at a Comic Con, and I did an episode of this podcast with him, and I found out that you were actually his voice acting coach back in the day, and that's how he kind of like got roles on like Snorks and Robotech and stuff like that. So how did you get to know Cam Clark? Because obviously he was part of the King family, so he'd obviously had his own career of like singing and dancing and stuff, and then he got into voiceover. So yeah, what was it like sort of like mentoring him and everybody else who you've coached over the
Well,
years?
I had a class. I had a theater at the time. I was producing productions and an equity labor theater. So I thought I would use the days off as a teaching venue for kids. So a lot of people contacted me, and one of which was Cam. And I worked with him and coached him along with the late Lucy Taylor and Katsu C and Neil Ross and a whole slew of people that now have gone on to great fame, thankfully. And then one day Cam came in. It was a very funny story. Cam came in and he said, I read for something. We all said, okay. And he said, and I got it. And we all went, yo, fabulous. You got it. How great. What is it for? And he told me, I said, good for you. I said, I read for that too. You beat out your teacher. And he went, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I said, not at all. That's what it's all about. That's what you're supposed to do. I did my job. So it's kind of funny.
Can you remember what TV show it was for? What cartoon or?
I don't remember. It was some animated series or something that he was reading for, and I read for it, and he got it. And and we have switched off every now and then. And I do a video game for what is it? Blizzard. It's Homecoming or something like that. It's a video game, and also I think it was I play a wizard in one of their games, in one of the big games. And when I went into the studio, they said, okay, we're going to play back your voice. And they played back. I said, it's not my voice. He said, yeah. They said, no, it's not mine. It's Cam Clark.
Wow.
Went, what? And I said, I might have been out of town or something. I couldn't do it. So they brought Cam in and he did. I said, it's not my voice. I'm not going to match Cam's. Where he went, oh, I'm so sorry. And they could hear all the talking at the other end. What the hell did you do? You in the back. They said, okay. And I said, try to find, mine. So they found my voice for the character and they brought it back. So obviously we switch off every now and then.
Yeah, that's really cool though. Another voice actor you mentored, apparently, according to the internet, I don't know if it's actually true or not, was Corey Burton. Apparently, he did some of your workshops, coaching sessions as well.
Yeah, Corey's got a wonderful voice. He's got a great set of pipes. He's got a good, deep, wonderful set of pipes. He doesn't do conventions, I don't think. I don't think he's very, very personal, quiet. It doesn't like to go out there. He's like Katsu Seed. He doesn't like to go to those conventions.
Yeah, I was gonna say because for those of you who don't know, TFCon Los Angeles is happening again this upcoming March, and I will be coming over. My first time coming to the States. But what they're planning on doing is a Generation 1 Transformers reunion. Now, so far, as of the 24th of November, they've advertised Peter Cullen, Bob Budiansky, Dan Gilvezan, and of course Michael. So whether they get Corey, I don't know, but I think it would be really lovely if they did. If they're getting like a lot of the G1 surviving cast, I think he should be there. I think it'd be really lovely.
I'd love him to be there, but as I said, he's a very private person. Unlike us, unlike the rest of us who are just out there all the time. He's very private.
Yeah, definitely. I remember speaking to him in my Bill Scott documentary. He was just so lovely. We spoke for like 6 hours straight. My gosh, it's like so relatable. Yeah, so that's really cool. Yeah, so who knows? Yeah. So are you looking, well, obviously obvious question, are you looking forward to TFCon in Burbank in March?
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. It should be a real kick to do that. But I'll find out what the rest of the guys are doing this coming Tuesday. See what their feelings are. But yeah, looking forward to it. And now it says you're doing voiceovers too?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I completely basically I've done a lot more work since we last spoke. Obviously I've done the ride, I've done a passport photo booth, I've just completed work for a theme park ride in California that's opening next year. So yeah, I'm slowly getting there. I'm working on I've done my character demo, I'm working on my commercial demo. So my goal is to try and get an agent by the start of next year, end of this year.
And how is work out there? Is your agent going to be in Britain or is it here?
over in the States, because in Britain, a lot of them you need to live in London. And I live about 3 hours up north from there. So that would be really hard for me to sort of like commute and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think having a US agent for US based work, because apparently like British people are like in really big demand over for the American market. So it'd be a lot more easier to sort of get jobs, I guess, over there.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, I can't remember if we spoke about this last time. Your voice direction work. So, Michael, obviously, you voice directed for a good few cartoons, including Kid Video, Peter Pan and the Pirates, and more recently, the LeBrons, which honestly, looking at the cast for that, to think that the actual LeBron James was in that and Drake was a guest star. So you actually got to voice direct like both of them at different times.
I did, you know, it's very funny because
Oh my
I'm
God.
not a sports enthusiast. So when the director came to me and he said he had me come out for lunch in Santa Monica, and he said, "I heard you directed a group of people, one of which he said was my girlfriend for this thing that somebody was putting together." And he said, "And you really made them sound good, and none of them are really actors, but you made them sound good." And I said, "Well, good, I appreciate that." He said, "So we have a project we're doing called the LeBrons." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "And it's an animated series for the webisode." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "And LeBron James is the star, and it's his piece. It's about his life as a kid, and it has, you know, the United States Army will be backing it, blah blah blah." And I said, "Okay, and we'd like you to direct it." And I said, "Well, the problem is I don't know anything about rap." And he went, "What?" I said, I don't know rappers. I wouldn't know how to direct a rapper." And he went, "LeBron James is a basketball player." I went, "That's the second thing I don't know anything about." And he said, "Oh, I think you'll be fine." So they brought me in. And I guess it served me because I wasn't in awe of him as someone who was a real basketball fan would be. So when we met, for me, he was just another guy to work
Mm.
with. So it was kind of fun getting him in a booth and telling him he had to do certain things. And he goes, "I'm not going to do that, man. I'm not going to do that." I said, "You got to do that." I said, "This is a rap song, and you have to sing this rap song in your character." He said, "I don't do raps. I'm not going to be doing that." And I said, "Okay, let me make a suggestion to you," because I had to go through the song. I had to do it myself to see, you know, what it sounded like.
Yeah.
Supposing I get the word out that a 75-year-old Jewish white man was able to do it and LeBron James couldn't. And he went, "Damn, all right, I'll do it." And I said, "Okay." He did it. And he had his hat on, and I said, "Take your hat." And I took his hat off and I put it on backwards. He said, "That's my hat, man." I said, "It gets in the way of the mic." And I could see the producers out there going, uh, "He's going to walk out of the studio. Oh my God. Oh my God." And I just didn't care. You know, he was another actor as far as I'm concerned, and he had to follow the rules. And
Yeah.
then he had the part where he had to cry. And he said, "What's this?" I said, "Well, you wrote it. You know, they wrote it with you. This character cries." He went, "Damn." And I said, "Okay, and don't give me boo hoo hoo. I want you to really dig deep on this and cry." Yeah. And he started and he worked and he worked and got some tears. And we went, cut. I said, "That's it, man. That's the way to do it." So it was really great fun working with him. And Drake, I didn't know either. I had no idea who he was. I just directed him. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a huge singer, you know. I've listened to some of his
Oh,
songs, like
I know
can't
he is
remember.
now. My daughter
Yeah.
said they had a huge party when the event when they were going to show it. It was at a big Hollywood nightclub. So
Yeah.
he invited me. The producers invited me and my wife and my daughter Ashley, who's an actress. And Ashley's tiny, little, beautiful little redhead. And when she said, "Dad, it's LeBron James. Oh my God." So I went over. I said, "LeBron, would you say hello to my daughter?" And he said, "Yeah, of course." He went over. His hand engulfed her hand. You couldn't even see her hand. When he shook her hand, "How do Ashley?" She was like, "LeBron James." She was so excited. And she's worked with major stars in television shows and movies. And, you know, she's, you know, shaking hands with LeBron. She's so excited. She named all the basketball players that were at the event. I said,
Oh,
"You
wow.
make me." I had no idea who those people were. Not a clue.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, I'm glad you got to share that moment with your daughter. That's really wholesome.
Great.
Um, would you like to do more voice direction work?
I would love to. I don't think there's a market for me at this point. I would love to have continued doing that. I really would. In fact, I put in my bid to when I was no longer when I was doing Rugrats. I put in my bid to direct Rugrats when the original director left, but they just weren't interested. So I just let it go.
Who was the original director for Rugrats?
Keith Farley
Oh,
was
I always thought it was Charlie Adler.
no. Charlie took over later. It was Keith
Oh.
originally. Yeah.
Ah, right, I see. Okay. Yeah, because you there's also Peter Pan and the Pirates, so like Jason Marsden and Tim Curry and Ed Gilbert, and just
It
thinking,
won an Emmy. It won an Emmy for Tim. Tim won an Emmy for it.
oh, really? Oh, wow. Oh, that's so
Captain,
cool.
yeah, yeah. Captain Hook.
Wow. That is so cool. And then Kid Video, I think I'm trying to think who was in it. Peter Renaday, Kat Cavadini, Marshall Ephron was in it. Yeah. So,
I did the casting as well for that.
oh, did you?
Oh yeah, I did the
Oh, that's so
casting for that.
cool.
Not for the band because they were the original, but I brought
Yeah.
in people that I wanted, all the guest
Mhm.
spots. So I had BJ Ward in it, and I had a whole bunch of people that I hired to do it. And it would have lasted, it would have stayed, except Chaim Saban, the producer, got angry at the I guess it's SAG or something for some reason and pulled it. And it was really on its way to being quite successful. It's unfortunate.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I'm having a look. Yeah, because yeah, and Robert Towers was in it, and Susan Silo, who's been on my show, and Hal Rail as well.
Right. I
That's
had them all. I cast everybody I knew in it.
yeah, that's really cool. Wow. I'll put some on my list. Ah, yes. Okay, this is a good one. So the DC animated universe. You've apparently, well, when I say apparently, I mean you have. You were in Batman the Animated Series, providing like additional voices, and also an episode of Justice League. So, what was it like to sort of work on that? Because I think you were in Heart of Ice, you were additional voices, and then I think Showdown, you were like an air captain or something like that.
Yeah. You guest spot. It's like England. You have these wonderful actors that star in one film, and the next thing you see them in another film, and they've got a minor role, but it's a nice role. It's just a piece, and they just like working. It's not like Hollywood. Hollywood, you do a big role, you don't come in and you don't do a small role after, unless you know the director and he asks you as a favor. But these were just jobs, for the most part, stuff that I did.
Yeah. Did you record ensemble for these?
Those I did. Those we did. We recorded ensemble. Yeah, this was new. In fact, the Batman thing I did for. I think Andrea directed that, if I'm not
Andrea
mistaken.
Romano. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she was directing Avatar at the time, and I wanted to do it, and I hadn't gotten a call for anything. So I wrote a note to her, and I sent a little note. And I said, "Dear Andrea, I'm on the 13th ledge of the Harvey Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, and I'm planning to jump because I haven't had a part in Avatar. And the crowd is screaming, jump, jump, jump. And one person said, contact Andrea Romano. So I figured I would. She called my agent and she said, yeah, okay, Michael Bell, bring him in. So the funny thing about, I think it was for Batman. It was for Batman. And so what happened was she told her class, because she teaches,
Mhm.
she was teaching then, and she said, you have to be in control of your own career. Now, here's somebody who is already very successful, works all the time, but wanted to do a Batman show. And I had completely, forgotten about him. Because he'd been working for so much, it just didn't occur to me to call him. And I got his note. I thought, oh yeah, why not Michael? She said, that's the lesson that you have to learn, is you have to be in control of your own career.
Very wise words from a very wonderful woman. She owns the same pair of these cat headphones as well, so that's quite cool. Yeah, because yeah, that was so you recorded ensemble. Do you remember seeing Kevin Conroy at the recordings for Batman?
Don't recall, but I probably did. Work was jump, 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 work, work, work. This
Yeah.
year was nice. It was doing knock wood. I was busy, so I don't remember seeing him. I've seen him at the cons, but prior to that.
Yeah, so I did meet him and he did come to the UK a few months before he died. So it was very, very rare appearance because I think the last time It's over here was 2018. Yeah, he was last here in 2018, and then he came over again last year. So
And Lauren
yeah.
Lester and I are good friends.
Oh yeah, Lauren Lester. Yeah, because he was on G.I. Joe. Yes.
He's also Robin.
And he was Robin. Yes, yes. I would keep him on my show. He's another person I'm trying to get for my show.
He's in New York. He's in New York now.
I think he was on Broadway for a while. He was doing a show or something.
He sure is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll have to see one day. Maybe I'll get him. I'll get him on. I don't know, but hey, actually, here's a good thing to bring up. You're actually an inventor. Now, I read this up. Apparently, you invented the Greyway rotating drain with Melanie Charter, right? So
Yeah.
how did that?
She came to session one day and she said, I don't, it's really awful. Why don't we have a setup? You turn the shower on and all that great white water goes down the drain until the hot water hits. And then you level it out, but you lose a lot of water in the meantime. So she said, I'd really like to know why that water can't go to a source, get filtered, and then go to the toilet. And I said, well, let me check with my brother-in-law, who was an inventor. And he came up with a concept and we made suggestions to it and he made suggestions. We appeared at a couple of events for conservation. People liked it. People wanted to order it. We got all kinds of calls. And the state of California, plumbers in the state of California denied us the opportunity. They said, well, there'll be too many pathogens. We said, what pathogens? Well, people urinate in the shower. I said, how many people, guys, women certainly don't, guys very possibly, but it goes through a filter situation. It's filtered. It goes to a tank and it goes to the same way our regular water is filtered. And it goes to a tank and they just fought us. And we just finally said, I can't continue putting money into that. So we patented it. And I finally said, screw it. I just formed my own Greyway system. I just set it up at my house. So the water from my bathtub and the water from the shower and the water from the washing machine all goes out to the garden.
Wow.
Yep.
That's really clever. Wow. That is quite amazing, to be fair.
Yeah.
What have you been up to nowadays? As in, like, have you done? I know you said you'd been dubbing for Netflix and everything like that, but have you been working on any animated programs?
No,
Maybe.
absolutely not. Nope. It's a very interesting business. There are so many people involved now in terms of animation. As you know, you can get auditions from all over the world, as well as all over the United States. So most of the time, you don't even know if the producer is listening to yours. They may be interested in one agency that they like, or somebody that they know that they like. And most of the people I know from the years ago are dead. Most of the people who cast me years ago are gone. So I just throw my hat in the ring. It's just now it's catch as catch can. So nothing has happened, which is fine with me. I mean, I'm fine with it. I enjoy dubbing. It's a gas. It's a real kick.
Michael, I'd like to ask you a question or talk a little bit now about Midnight Patrol Adventures in the Dream Zone. In the UK, it was known as Potsworth and Co. Now, this project, I would say, is quite unique because it's Hanna-Barbera, but it was also produced in conjunction with Sleepy Kids Company, which is a British company who had sort of been in the market before producing kids shows. What was it like really to work on that show?
I have no memory of it at all.
It's worth an ask.
I have no memory. I don't even recognize the title.
That's okay. It just said on it. I mean, you've done a lot of voiceover roles,
Who else was in it?
Clive Revel was in it. I think he was the main character. I'm trying to have a look. Is that how you say his last name? Is it Revel or Revel? I can't.
Yeah, Clive Revel. And what was it called?
Midnight Patrol Adventures in the Dream Zone.
Wow.
But in the UK, it was called Potsworth and Co. because the BBC over here thought it was, inappropriate to promote staying up after midnight. Hamilton Camp was in it. Joan Gerber, Janice Kawai, Kenneth Mars, Rob Paulson, Frank was in it.
Wow. Great cast. I have no memory of it at all.
That's okay. That's okay. It was worth an ask, though. It's worth an ask. Yeah, I'm just yeah, there was yeah, worth an ask. Yeah. Oh yeah. Howie Morris was on it as well, and Scott Menville and BJ Ward, and yeah, just a lot of good people.
Wow, 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 wow. I gotta look it up. Midnight Zone.
Midnight Patrol Adventures in the Dream Zone.
Okay, I'll try to remember that. Yeah, yeah.
If you don't remember it, that's I can just email it you if you want if
I'll just write it down. I'll write it down and Google it.
yeah, that's totally yeah. It says you voiced a character called Sebastian. Yeah, actually, I don't know who voice directed it though. If it's a Hanna-Barbera show, it was most likely voice directed by Gordon Hunt, probably.
Sure. Gordon would direct it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah. You've worked on a lot of Hanna-Barbera shows, so working with Gordon Hunt, what was it like for you?
Oh, it was lovely. It was really nice. He was very gentle. He was very funny, and if you screwed up, you go one more for Father Clarity.
Bless.
And it was really cool. It was very, very nice. I really enjoyed. He and BJ eventually got married. BJ Ward, she got married. Have you ever interviewed BJ?
No, but I would really love her on my show.
She's delightful. She's very, very funny. I'll send you her email. You can email her.
Yeah, that'd be great. Oh, it'd be wonderful to have her on because I did have a GalaxyCon chat with her a few years back, and she was really lovely. So yeah, it'd be great to speak to her again.
She's super.
So actually, this is a good one to bring up. G.I. Joe Renegades, you returned as Duke's father, which is quite cool. So what was it like to sort of return to the sort of not exactly Duke, but like sort of his bloodline after a good few years?
Well, that was a very good script. We were very surprised that it got canceled. It was a wonderful script, and I know that Ginny McSwain, who directed it, was really looking forward to directing some more of them. And it was fun for Jason Marsden playing young Duke when I had directed him as Peter in the
down there.
Yeah,
it's down there. Very lovely guy. Very lovely guy.
Very sweet, very sweet. Yeah.
I've just looked up BJ Ward voiced Duke's mother. How cool is that?
Well, because Duke marries Scarlett.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's just made me feel really happy. It's like it's all coming together. It's all linking together. Very lovely. Let me just try and yeah. Okay, right. This is one I would love to bring up now. If you don't have any memory of doing this, then that's completely okay, Michael. Just let me know. So a while back, there was a UK TV show called Tugs. And in the late 1980s, Christopher Burrough Productions redubbed it with American voice actors, and you happened to be one of them.
What was it called?
Tugs.
Tugs? Yes.
Yeah.
Sue Blue directed that.
Oh, did she voice direct it?
She voice directed it, yeah.
Oh,
that was Tugs, yeah. And then that one I remember, yeah. That didn't. Was that going to be a series? I don't know if it became a series or not.
It didn't become a series. They did a pilot just for dubbing it, and it didn't really take off.
Just the pilot. Yeah, that I did. That was lovely. That was again with a group of people working together. That's most of the fun is when you're working together with other actors. Then you kind of get a feel to where they're going and how to respond. Working by yourself is it's okay. It's work, but it's not as much fun.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say because I'm literally looking it up now, and there were unfortunately some of the cast members don't really remember doing the session. So I'm quite happy that you remember doing it. Mm-hmm. Very happy. Yeah, because Sue Blue was in it, Pat Music was in it, Alan Oppenheimer, Jack Angel. I'm trying to think. Is that the thing? No, that's not. I'm just having a look. Here we are. Yeah, someone's put the credits. Here we are. So Charlie Adler was in it, Jack Angel, Susan Blue, Ed Gilbert, Pat Music, Alan Oppenheimer, and Rob Paulson.
Right.
Yeah. So
Pat Music was one of my students as well.
Pat, I've had her on my show as well. She was so lovely. I love her so much. And I thought, well, why not? we'll watch a little bit of this Tugs US stuff now because of its rarity. It's really not been made available to the public for a good long time.
I want to let you know before anything else happens. There's a wonderful Christmas special that I did a number of years ago for Steven Spielberg called "A Wish for Wings That Work."
I think, where do I know that from? I've spoken to someone who worked on that. Who was it? Who was it?
It's the character Opus.
Oh yeah, I can't remember who I spoke to.
Chris McNeil, Frank
Yeah,
Hughes, Dustin Hoffman,
that is so cool.
and who else besides Dustin Hoffman? There's another one. There was
John Berner, is that his name? I don't know.
John Biner. No, John Biner was a comic. He played Bill. I was Opus, and then I wound up doing some voices for Bill, the character Bill, some vomiting voices because he couldn't vomit, so I had to do choking vomit voices. And then oh my God, where is the famous comic? Another famous comic who also did it. Another character besides Dustin Hoffman.
Oh my gosh, Robin Williams was in it.
That's what it was. Robin Williams. Yes.
He was under a Oh, I get it. Pseudonym. Oh, very funny.
Robin Williams.
He was under a different name. I wonder why.
I don't know. I thought his name came up. But anyway, it's a wonderful Christmas special. If anybody's watching to download it, I guess they can get it on iTunes or something, but it's just absolutely sensational. It's one of my
It's on YouTube.
It's one of my favorite things. It's one of my favorite pieces of work that I ever did.
Let's have a look here. Is this the actual one that's on YouTube? Yeah, it's the real one. It's the real one. The real one.
Let me start by telling you about my life lately. In fact, just this morning.
Oh, this is cool. So is this a Christmas film?
It's a Christmas special. He wishes for wings that work. Frank plays Santa Claus.
Oh.
And Dustin Hoffman plays a wonderful little character, and Robin Williams plays another character, and then it's a combination of live action and cartoon. So.
Oh, that's so cool! Wow.
You ought to see it. It's really great fun.
I'm trying to think. So who did you voice in the Tugs Sunshine?
I have no memory of that at all. I just remember doing it. I don't remember the character I played.
Well, I've had a look online, and apparently you voiced Captain Zero. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play it and see if you if you remember doing it.
I'm always busy looking for a way to wreck our chances with the Duchess.
Now listen to me and listen good. Star Tug and Marine are about to get the ocean liner contract. That really bothers me.
So, what can we do about it, Captain?
It was at you as Captain Zero.
Do something, Zoran, whatever it takes, because I want that contract. And you're gonna get it for me.
That's the Captain Zero.
Okay, cool.
Do you recognize? Do you remember?
Of course. Everybody has there's a quality that everybody has that you can't get away from. No matter how you change your voice, there's always something in there that is telling.
Yeah, definitely. I've spoken to Rob about it. I've spoken to Pat, spoken to Susan Blue. Obviously Jack and Ed are no longer with us. I need to speak to Alan Oppenheimer about it actually, and Charlie Adler. Yeah, so let's discuss that. But that's so cool. Thank you so much for sharing the love of Tugs. I feel so happy. Michael, now this is a kind of a fun question. Now, what do you usually do when you're not doing voiceover? What hobbies do you have outside of voiceover?
I nap.
Me too.
I like a good nap. I do a wildlife rescue and occasionally, and a lot of work with rescue animals, domestic. I don't rescue them. I work on legislation, and I also play a part in helping to get them adopted if I can with rescue groups. I provide funding, since I've done well in my life, for the rescue groups and for wildlife groups. In fact, I have 2 baby squirrels in my backyard in a cage that I found during a heavy storm we had here. They're little skinny little wet things, and I found a rescuer, and she wound up nursing them. And I took them when they had fur, and we've got them in the back, and we're going to release them tomorrow or Sunday, finally, after weeks of being with me, 2 or 3 weeks of being with me. So they're great. They're the Corsican brothers. I named them the Corsican brothers from the movie, Lucien and Mario. So I keep pretty busy. I also spend a lot of time going to the theater to see my daughter in the Groundlings. She's in the Groundlings in California. She's in the main company of the Groundlings, and she's very, very funny, writes and performs, and huge success there. So a lot of time is spent there.
Has she ever done any voiceover work before?
Yes, quite a bit of it. In fact, she's been dubbing, and she also did. She starred in a movie called The Last Exorcism, which was a horror for Lionsgate, which is a huge success. And she wrote, produced, and directed a documentary called Love and Bananas, which was in contention for an Academy Award about the rescue of a partially blind elephant, 73-year-old partially blind elephant, and her 500-mile trek to a sanctuary. And Ashley's in it as well. It's called Love and Bananas. And I think you can get it on iTunes. It's a gorgeous film.
Sweet.
So she's very busy. She's very busy. Yeah. And she does a lot of voiceover for actresses that don't want to come back, very well-known actresses that don't want to come back and do fill-ins and stuff that they were supposed to do. So she does their voices.
Oh, that's really cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So when Ashley Bell, she for those at home who do not know, that was Ashley Bell. When Ashley was growing up, did you like ever take her to any of yours or your wife's sessions? Maybe you did.
She came to sessions, sure. Ever since she was a kid, she came to sessions. In fact, when I was guest starring on Star Trek, when I guest starred on Star Trek, The Next Generation, then after that I did another Star Trek run or whatever it was. And she came to see me, and I was all decked out in Deep Space Nine, and I was all decked out in this creature thing, covered with makeup and strange things coming out of my body, and I was on gigantic shoes, and I was going to lunch at Paramount, and I was clumping down the road, and I hear, "Daddy?" And I turn around at my wife and her, and she recognized me from the back, just clumping down. I look nothing. I mean, I tell you, I've got huge latex makeup on and green face and things coming out of it and weird hair. And she recognized me, "Daddy?" It's very funny.
Oh, bless. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. And she's with the Groundlings now. That is amazing. Just like, just wow. You have a very talented family, Michael, all in showbiz.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And if people are interested in fine art, they can go to VictoriaCarolBell.com and see my wife's work, her extraordinary paintings.
Yeah, and I think I might have your wife on my show at some point. I'll have to ask her. Yeah,
She was the voice of the Hulk S, the Green Hulk, the female Hulk.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah,
sweet. Well, I'll definitely reach out to her at some point in the near future. I'd say in December, but like not before Christmas, if you get what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe. Michael, it's time for the big question now. So this is like the question, like the big question at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What is it?
Big one. Huge, big question. It's like,
are we there yet?
Okay, so my big question to you, Michael, is I've just completely forgot what the question was gonna be.
Waiter, check please. Can I have a table further back?
Michael, now of course you were high tide in Transformers Rescue Bots. Would you like to return to the role of high tide or do anything Transformers related again in a show? Because like high tide, because I did look up on your Transformers Wikipedia page that you had auditioned for Prime and all these different roles, and then you ended up being in Rescue Bots, which is dedication. Like you did all these auditions and stuff. So yeah.
Well, I have to thank Ginny McSwain for that. She she was directing Rescue Bots, and she said, "You want to come in and do something?" I said, "Sure, that'd be great fun." So she brought me in. It was a gift kind of to do Rescue Bots. So I got to play this dramatic character, which was fun.
Yeah, I personally love High Tide. He's like one of my favorite characters. I think High Tide, Quick Shadow, and Optimus are probably my favorite three
Yeah.
in Rescue Bots. They're quite just very well written characters, and just like bringing you and Peter Cullen back to the show. It's amazing, really. Just it's acknowledging sort of the past like roles, if you get what I mean.
Right. No, I do. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then of course you came back for Devastation and stuff. And yeah, it says that you auditioned for animated, the live action films, Transformers Prime. And I just think that's dedication.
You want to work, and it's great fun to continue your career, with those characters that you've helped create vocally. After all, you can only take a certain amount of permission there. It's just the vocal acting. There's somebody else created the characters, somebody else drew the character, somebody else came up with the concept, and you come in and do the voice. It's a composite. It's a group effort. It's a village. It takes a village to do a voice.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Right. Okay. Remember outro, right? Okay. Don't just stay on the line, Michael. Don't leave me, please. Okay, sweet. Right, okay. So, Michael, thank you so much for being on my show again. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you about all the other things that we didn't manage to talk about in the first part.
This was a pleasure. This was great. Loved it. Thank you.
You're welcome. I had a lot of fun myself. Where can we find you on the internet? Have you got a website you'd like to promote? Have you got what social media are you on? If you're on any, that is.
Nothing, just, michaelbellvoices.com. And if anybody's interested in learning at least the beginning of how to create a character voice for animation, I'm on YouTube under Michael Bell Voice Animation Class. It's free, and it's about an hour and a half, and you watch me train other young students in how to create characters vocally.
Sweet. Well, I'll get all that linked in the description. To you at home, thank you so much for watching this episode of In Conversation with ATF. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did filming it. So stay safe, stay happy, and thank you for watching. Take care, everybody. Bye. And cut.